Hari Om Tat Sat. Welcome to Swami Jyotirmayananda Society, a journey to self realization. Please subscribe for the mystical meanings and to enjoy daily satsang. We are currently exploring Advice to Householders, authored by Swami Jyotirmayananda Maharaj, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. In today's satsang, we will discuss the importance of Maha Mritynjaya mantra and the meditation aspect of it. So let us chant the mantra together. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mokshiyamamritat. This means we adore the Supreme, who is the possessor of three eyes and the three energies, who is the enhancer of fragrance and nourishment. May we be liberated from the meshes of death, as a fruit is liberated from the bondage of creeping vines, and may we be led to immortality. This Vedic hymn expresses the innermost urge for immortality which abides in the hearts of all human beings. Life is a continuous struggle to overcome death and to win immortality. Every action, every experience, and every condition of life are phases of one's evolution, leading to the shining sea of immortality beyond the darkness and delusion of the world process. This hymn, adoring Lord Shiva, was revealed to the ancient sages during their long hours of communion with the Self. The lotus of divine experience bloomed in the clear lakes of their hearts, inspiring them to compose this verse and many other verses that are filled in the Vedas, and to present them to the world as keys to open the secret treasures of mystic values. So this is called Maha Mrityunjaya mantra, meaning a mystic verse which is the great conqueror of death. Maha means great, Mrityu means death, and Jaya means victory. So Maha Mritynjaya mantra. Any method that prolongs life is a conqueror of death. However, this mantra is called Great Conqueror because when it is repeated with deep understanding and feeling, it confers liberation, which is the ultimate and complete cessation of birth and death. Lord Shiva is the absolute self presented in a personified form. Like all forms of divinity revealed by sages, Shiva's form is a highly mystical and poetic representation of the Absolute. His head is generally covered with matted locks. Matted locks represents mysteries of spiritual life. They also denote the chains of Himalayan mountains, which symbolically represent chains of spiritual thought, the sublime thoughts that arise out of profound meditation. Further, Lord Shiva has the stream of Ganges flowing from his head. That stream represents wisdom. He also holds on his forehead a crescent moon, which is the symbol of mastery over the mind. The mind in most people goes on waxing and waning, but in Lord Shiva it remains crescent shape all the time. It is eternally under control. The snakes on Shiva's body represent cosmic powers, and the ashes from cremation grounds that cover him symbolize the mighty power of wisdom, which consumes all karmas and limitations. It annihilates them and converts them into bhasma, vibhuti, ashes, and that's why you see Lord Shiva smeared in ashes. Lord Shiva is also known as the embodiment of sannyasa or renunciation, and at the same time, he is the embodiment of auspiciousness and gentleness. Shiva means Shubh, Shubh is auspicious. According to the mystic stories of the Puranas, Lord Shiva has a third eye which, although normally closed, is opened when needed to carry out his divine destruction. According to the Puranic story, Lord Shiva was once practicing intense austerity and was in deep meditation and samadhi. At that time, Cupid god or Kamadeva, with all his army of temptations, came to distract Shiva from that samadhi. After they had unsuccessfully exercised all their charm and power, Cupid god finally discharged his flowery arrow at Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva then opened his two eyes and looked around. Then he opened his third eye, and the fire flashed from his forehead, burning up the Cupid god who was hiding in the shrubs. Since then, according to the story, the Cupid god exists in an invisible, subtle form. So Shiva's third eye, as indicated figuratively in the story, is symbolic of intuitive vision or pragya, which destroys ignorance, the source of desire and cupidity. And that is what binds us to this world, isn't it? It's the desires. And the desires have to be converted into aspirations. When we take the desires and make them holy desires, when we want to be in sattva or purity, when we want to take care of our body in a healthy way, all that is accepted, encouraged in the divine plan. But getting distracted in the sense pleasures, wasting time in idle senses is not recommended. Why? Because that takes us more into rajas and tamas, activity and inertia, whereas the goal is to be in as much purity as possible. This is why we see Lord Shiva always meditating. So, Mahamrityunjaya mantra is generally described as the remover of obstacles and the prolonger of life. When you meditate on the mantra's deeper meaning and adore the self in the form of Lord Shiva with profound understanding, you will attain no less than the highest goal of life, which is liberation itself, mukti, which is which is one of the blessings of having a human embodiment. Only in a human embodiment is liberation possible. So what we will do in is study this entire mantra word by word so we get a deeper understanding. And as we are focusing on each word, we should meditate on it, contemplate on it, and let the divine thoughts unfold as they may. You will find a divine garden inside your heart, which is filled with divine fragrance, beautiful flowers, and will give you unbounded bliss and joy. So, we will do each meaning of this beautiful mantra in tomorrow's satsang, and with that, we will also conclude this beautiful book, Advice to Householders, which is a very practical book and we should come to it from time to time to revisit any problems we may be having in our daily life, in our household life. So this is Swami Nikhilananda. Hari Om Tat Sat.